All right, here we go. Hello again.
We've added an extra commentator, the doctor.
This is the doctor. This is my cat,
i.e. Goldenrod.
Or the doctor.
Or the doctor. Poor cat's had like 8,000 names. I don't think he has any of them.
He's only had one name, but I thought it would be cool that for every male cat to just call him the doctor.
So, and she decided this when he was 14 years old, just
doctor.
So you know.
Yes. This is the doctor. Sometimes it's actually called Goldenrod.
On topic.
And back to what we were talking about.
Welcome back to part 3, and we were going to talk about.
I am very fascinated with dystopian literature, and that was one of the things that I brought in. The reason why I read the books in the first place was because that's what initially captivated me about it, and I really love how dystopian literature can really, obviously from a almost cynical at times, perspective, you can really evaluate, discuss, whatever you want to do, issues that are alive in our own society.
It's a social commentary almost, you know?
Exactly, but it takes it into a situation where, it almost in a way harkens back to what the use of fairy tales were, the original, the Grimm type, Grimm's fairy tales, how they were used as a means, or not only, one of the ways that they were used though is as a means of discussing social problems, if you will, social dynamics, that it would put it in a setting that it was socially comfortable to discuss. It was something that you could tackle the subject in a situation that you could evaluate it. I really feel like dystopian literature does the same thing, and in that regards, looking into starting with the book and then into the movie, I just felt that it's a phenomenal storyline personally. That was what I wanted to mention that I really like.
But I think you bring up a good point. One of the big things that the Hunger Games talks about is, and it speaks on, is as a society, our almost
obsession
with watching other people suffer.
We're a very sadistically voyeuristic society.
Yeah, it kind of is. And I think a lot of people are like, Survivor, whatever. But in the same vein, what Suzanne Collins did and what this film did was they took it to an extreme. Mm-hmm. They took it, she speaks on a lot of other things socially. But it's obvious that there's a definite social commentary on this idea of turning other people's pain into entertainment. Yeah.
You flip on MTV, and that's pretty much all you watch. Yeah. It's whether it's emotional pain or physical pain. It's
it's
fodder.
Very difficult.
It's TV fodder, and it's kind of
It's
kind of a frightening thing.
Exactly, and it's that's going back to the dystopian thing. That's one of the things that is sort of a hallmark, if you will, of dystopian literature. Is you take things that are already present in society, you take it just a couple steps further. So right now we are a voyeuristic society. We are obsessed as a culture with reality television. Maybe not individually, but as a society we are. And this instantaneous, we want information now. That's really another big part of it.
Yeah,
and feeling like but you take that, how far away are we from being in a situation like...
Yeah. And another thing
I get gratification.
Yeah. Another thing I like that she did in the books, and I hope it comes in bigger in later movies, later films, is if you look at the Capitol and you look at the people in the Capitol, they're obviously... The Capitol is us. Whether as a reader you want to admit that or not, we are obsessed with entertainment. Which is the Capitol.
We're obsessed with the latest thing.
We're obsessed with perfection, with being the best. And if you read the book, the people in the Capitol are borderline grotesque because of how much they have altered themselves. It's obviously there's a Hollywood obsession with plastic surgery. You can see the evident social commentary on that. But I also think there's certain things to be said for the way that she splits up the world into districts. We have this obsession as a society as well with labeling things. We like things to be compartmentalized. We like them to be comfortable. We like them to be safe. And in this series, in these movies, in these books, you see the districts cannot interact with one another. They are, if you are from District 12, you are from District 12. You live, you die
to support the Capitol.
Yeah, you marry in District 12. And I feel like there's something to be said for a commentary of how our society compartmentalizes everything as well.
Absolutely.
It's definitely, I think the film did a really good job of, when you watch it, it kind of makes you look at yourself a little bit and realize you know, in this setting, where would you stand? You know, in all reality. Mm-hmm. And I think they did a really good job translating that into film.
Absolutely.
It definitely made me think, you know, and like we've all three read all three of the books, but it still got my wheels turning. Mm-hmm. And I really appreciated that. I think it was a great way of doing that. Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's all we got for you guys.
I think so too.
But definitely watch it. Definitely read the book.
Do we have a favorite scene though? I mean, I personally,
my favorite scene.
Well, one of the other ones though, I think that I don't think I could pick a favorite.
We'll do favorite scenes.
I don't think I could pick one, but I think with our theater, when we were there, the scene at the feast when Katniss goes to get Peeta's medicine, when we see Thresh and he comes after creepy little girl plays Clove. Nuts. When he gets her and he kills her and he turns around and tells her just this one time.
Just one time.
So
and seriously, people in every single person in our theater, full theater, clapped and cheered for Thresh as he ran away. And I like that scene kind of stuck with me in the books, but it was so powerful.
Exactly. You could get that sort of moment with the rest of the audience
because it really made me fall in love with Thresh's character all over again.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So I don't really have a favorite, but that's definitely up there.
My favorite scene. Well, I told you I love the whole scene at the very end, but basically, I'm a romantic at heart, so any given scene with
the cave was absolutely beautiful. Josh Hutcherson, every time you looked at him,
every time they were having like snuggly time, I was just like.
Every time you looked at his eyes, there was so much pain. It was palpable, and I was like, "Oh, sweet baby, come here, let me hug you."
Every time like they did anything, I was just like,
"Oh God!"
And like during like the kiss scene, I was like.
Yeah,
finally!
She was like, guys!
I was waiting for it. I was like,
it was beautiful. It was the most fangirly I think I've ever seen us.
It was so sweet because, so yeah, anything, like Peeta, Josh Hutcherson, which bear in mind, like, I grew up with Josh Hutcherson being a tiny child actor. Like, I saw him in Hell's Castle and Zathura, and he was just an adorable little boy. So when I heard that they cast him as Peeta, I was kind of like, what? Isn't he like 12? Like
not too.
And then you turn around and you're like, whoa, you grew up. What happened?
And I looked up a picture of him and I'm like, when did you become attractive, sir? I'm not okay with this.
You need to stop right now.
But Peeta and Katniss, I mean, I know a lot of it on Katniss's side was staged, but that also set groundwork for it to not be staged. And
this was beautifully acted too.
Oh yeah. And just every single like moment with Peeta was just so genuine and heart melting, and I wanted Peeta.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, even if a lot of hers was staged, I think there was a certain degree of comfort in being close to someone.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah, and having someone know that they are
in a really scary situation that's unknown.
And I think they acted it very well. Josh Hutcherson was absolutely precious.
So that's my favorite.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. My favorite is another one that really resonated with the audience. It was when Rue died, and he had a lot of people did the 3-finger kiss and the
business.
That I like when you have it. That's part of the reason why I like going to premieres of movies, the first showing, just because
there's a solidarity.
That's the people that really they're there because either they've read the book or they've heard it's an awesome storyline. They're there at midnight to see this, and so you've got all these people, and there's a unity, like you said, a solidarity there, and I liked that moment. It was such an emotional moment. I was bawling every time.
I was crying.
Yes.
Crying.
So
oh my God.
That was my favorite. I'd have to say is just, and I like also because of what that scene represented that. In the grand scheme of the story, because the game makers, they make this whole situation so it's for the entertainment, and the reason Katniss did that was to show that Rue's death meant something. Yeah. That she wasn't
just a little girl.
She wasn't just a pawn in their game. That she deserved respect and she deserved to be remembered, and that's why I love that story or that scene in the book because of it as well.
And I think it almost like I was dreading that scene. Like the moment I saw Rue and how cute she was, I was like, oh, this is gonna hurt. But one of the things I appreciated about that scene is when she first dies. There is a moment there where Katniss loses her shit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she loses it.
Well, and she does.
And then she like gets herself together. And she gets the flowers, and she does her bit, and then you see her later, and she's lost it again. I loved that whole from her crying from Rue's death to her crying the second time, that whole section was absolutely beautiful.
Definitely.
Because I think they handled it in a way that a 16-year-old girl in a scary situation would handle that. I mean, it's
her humanity.
It is. She just watched one of her few friends in the arena die, and it was a little girl, who never hurt anybody. And I think that was it was so beautiful the way that it was done.
Exactly. So to recap, I think we obviously had very positive reviews. Again, it's a book to film adaptation. They're not going to get every 100, but you know what? I don't know if that would necessarily be the goal.
There were
I would think it's safe to say that both fans of the book, as well as if you haven't read the book, I think that you're gonna. It's a good
story
all around.
It's entertaining,
even if you're not a reader. Because Dan Collins is a very engaging writer. It goes quick.
So we would highly recommend reading the books. But even if you're not, like we said, a reader,
it's really
the film is fantastic. Good. It's very good.
Absolutely,
go out and see it. Dress up,
definitely support, and it's a good time.
And may the odds be ever in
your favor.
But
yeah.